Studies have shown the Gangetic Plains initially had dense forests. These were gradually cleared to make way for human habitation. The fact that Indus and Ganga plains were covered with monsoon forests finds support in the tigers and rhinoceros depicted on Harappan seals. These animals are now extinct from that region.
When we hear of the Indus civilization, we know that it evolved around the river Indus basin, along the river Indus basin, and they were totally dependent on the river. As a matter of fact, they even had trade by river. We have Indus seals which have boats on them. So they flourished because of the river, and finally this civilization, when you see the causes of its decay, you see it's a river. Because of the inundation in that time, even when Alexander came, 326 BC, the area was swampy, marshy, there was a lot of rain. It isn't the dry area that we see now. So it was very habitable and it was very inhospitable both. And it was this regular inundation of the Indus which finally decayed this civilization. They used to build embankments along the banks of the Indus by these burnt bricks for which they had to cut timber. And timber cutting meant deforestation. So the civilization died a natural death because of the Indus once again.
The northern plains were not uniformly fertile. The third desert of Rajasthan and the semi-arid region surrounding it did not allow much cultivation. But slowly, like deserts elsewhere, caravan routes originated here and were used mainly for trade. Small centers emerged and a few of them grew to be towns. Some of them also became agriculturally viable. The plateau region of peninsular India, also known as the Deccan, slopes gradually from west to east. Its western brink runs parallel to the Arabian Sea at an enormous height. The Krishna and the Tungabhadra rivers divide the tableland into two parts, the Deccan Plateau region and the deep South India, which have played somewhat different roles in history.
To an extent, you could say that the south of the Vindhyas have a different culture than north of the Vindhyas. But that could be because of, as you pointed out, not too much of frequent interaction between the people who came from the northwest. They wanted to settle in the Indian plains. Probably they didn't want to cross the Vindhyas, beyond which the Dravidian people, so to say, people of belonging to different culture, stayed, and they had their own characteristics. So the penetration level might not have been as huge or as continuous but there were, if one would not say that there was no connections, there were connections. So we have this movement of Saraswat Brahmins, that they've also lived in the south of the Vindhyans, in the Konkan coast. So people have migrated, but obviously the routes of migrations are also being influenced by this, as you point out, physical barriers. Therefore, one would say that physical barriers does slow down the process of migration, because distance is a factor.